because you are human existence.
I believe that we are creatures not of bodies. I think we are expressions of life, we are expressions of spirit, and that we are not chained by gravities, by walls, by limits.
Okay, Revolution Radio, here we go. It is Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is time for the Quantum Leap Show. Let Light Unite with our goddess spiritual warrior, Cathy Bilsky.
Aloha, everybody. This is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap, Let Light Unite, on Revolution Radio at Freedom's Lips. I have a guest coming on at the bottom of the hour, and his name is Chris Keller, and he's really pretty cool. He's a quantum energy healer using the ancient form of pendulum dowsing for finding the root cause of all health problems, and he works with pyramid energies and various sacred geometric tools for resolving health issues. And Chris uses his extreme open mind to develop the fundamentals and theories for successful healing protocols, which he uses on clients all around the world and beyond. So if you want to call in and talk to Chris, you're more than welcome to. And before he comes on, what we're going to talk about really quick, of course, I'm going to give you your radiation level for the week. And I want to talk a little bit about the Teamsters and how to help a loved one make transition. And before I get to all of that, I just have to say one thing because it's been coming up on my Facebook page a lot and people have been coming and talking to me. And I'm going to only say this once. I ain't ever going to talk about it again because I think it's the most craziest thing on the planet. You hear all these people talking about the flat earth. Yeah, well, talk about a distraction, right? But, I mean, if they only stop and think and actually look up in the sky and think a little logically, I mean, how in the world can all and everything else in the atmosphere, all the other worlds and the planets be round, yet our Earth is gonna be flat? Oh my God, someone must be really smoking some really good dope, right? Or maybe some bad stuff. All right, so let's, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the Teamsters, and it's really amazing to me that every time I talk about the union or put something about the union on my Facebook page, I always get a couple of people that are so angry. Now, unions aren't perfect. And without them, we would really be screwed. If you ever bothered to go looking throughout history, you'll know that if it wasn't for unions, we wouldn't have a lot of what we have today, which is the weekend off and 40 hours. It's just that business has figured out a way to get around the union, to screw people even more. And I think that is so, so wrong. So when people are going to complain about the unions and bringing people together, I just have to ask them, what would you suggest people do to come together when they don't know how to? And when you join a union and you bring all these people together and their knowledge, now you got a lot more power than you did if you were on your own. And I really believe that those people that are out there that are picketing for their rights, well, they're not doing it because they're greedy. They're doing it because they're getting screwed by their employer, and they know it. And all they're asking for is a little bit more profit and a little bit more equality from their employer. And because the greedy employer doesn't want to give it, it's not going to happen unless you come together in a group. And I will say union. And then you've got the strength of many. So it's really, I got a letter from the Teamsters, and they're really, really excited because support for labor unions are growing. And I'm really happy to say it's gone up 58% among the general public and 72% among low-wage workers. And when one worker does better, we all do, don't we? So just this morning, the fight for $15 was launched. Massive protests in over 500 cities for $15 an hour and union rights. Low-wage workers are done waiting. They're done watching the rich get richer while more than 60 million underpaid workers struggle to survive. Now, the Teamsters support the movement of low-wage workers because they believe every hard-working American needs $15 an hour and union rights. It isn't just low-wage workers taking action, but union members, including Teamsters, are joining the nationwide activity. Today, FedEx freight workers are hitting over 300 terminals from coast to coast to inform co-workers about the need to fight FedEx's corporate greed and organize with the Teamsters. In Las Vegas, Teamster valet, parking attendants at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino are fighting for a first contract after the company has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to avoid bargaining. They're staging a huge rally today to demand justice. And finally, after a recent week of strikes, misclassified port drivers are holding major actions on both coasts to stop wage theft and fight for union rights at the ports. So today is really, and from now on, is really important for everyone because you're seeing friends and neighbors all over in your communities across the country. They're waking up and speaking up for their rights and union rights. Because if you get in a union, you're going to have some good bennies, trust me. So when you see somebody actually out there picketing, come on, give them a thumbs up, beep your horn, buy them a cup of coffee, get them a sandwich, or even join them on the line, because their win is a win for everybody. All right, let's go through the radiation for the week, and I'm bringing this up to remind people about what's going on with Fukushima. It's 4 years now that the nuclear disaster is gone on. And it's not real pretty. So this is the radiation level for the week, and Bob Nick from Veterans Today actually compiled the information. So thank you, Bob, for bringing us this wonderful insight that we all need to survive in this crazy times. Now, radiation, anything above 20 rads is not good, okay? So remember that. So I am going to start with the highest city that has the highest radiation, and then go down to the lowest. So once again, we are going to start off with Little Rock, Arkansas. You have the highest radiation level at 1,601 CPMs. Colorado Springs, you're right behind them at 1,553. Miami, Florida, 1,412. Raleigh, North Carolina, 1,363. Kansas City, Kansas, 1,307. Louisville, Kentucky, 1,307. Navajo Lake, New Mexico, 1,283. Worcester, Massachusetts, 1,277. Wow, let me just read you the names of all these places that just simply have it over 1,000. I mean, once you're over 1,000, what's a couple hundred, right? All right, so the top cities that have listed over 1,000 rads We got Pierce, South Dakota, Spokane, Washington, Champaign, Illinois, Fresno, California, Amarillo, Texas, Harrisburg, Virginia, Riverside, California, Tucson, Arizona, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Concord, New Hampshire, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Bakersfield, California, Omaha, Nebraska, Billings, Montana, Portland, Oregon, El Paso, Texas, Pittsburgh, Denver, Colorado, San Diego, California, Charleston, West Virginia, Bismarck, North Dakota, Atlanta, Georgia, Idaho Falls, Idaho, Hartford, Connecticut, Mason City, Iowa. Now, the lowest is, take a guess, go ahead, take a guess. It's not going to be a really hard one because they're always the lowest recently. And, all right, are you thinking? All right, do, 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 do. I'm giving you a chance to think. Do, 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 do. All right, time's up. So if your answer was Washington, D.C., then you are correct. Now, how Washington actually has their rad level that their lowest is 107. And it goes between 107 and 330. Wow. You know, they want to share the secret so we all can, you know, have that same. Now, I mean, it's still high, mind you, but God, it's way better than 1,000, isn't it? So 33 cities exceeded over 1,000. Another 12 cities are clustered between 999 and 900, ready to break out anytime. So please stay alert and take really appropriate precautions. The rad peak from the October 30th September rad contagium is not going away. Instead, the rad poison is spread all over the country and settled in for the long haul. The most prevalent isotope, cesium-137, takes a daunting 600 years to decay in infinitesimal levels. It is not even particularly long-lived radiation. The cesium will remain, though, but we're not gonna cancel clear that thought. So now U.S. abandons St. Louis, Missouri, and I brought this up before, and boy, you folks that live around the Missouri area, you better take this as a heads up. The Manhattan Project's former nuclear-laden garbage dump for contaminated material is in comeback mode in a big way in St. Louis. The nuclear-laced garbage is directly in the path of an underground fire in a modern city garbage dump. The U.S. will throw its own residents under the bus rather than jeopardize any part of their nuclear weapons program. The fire is just another bad example of bad consequences that happen to good people as a result of the U.S. nuclear weapons program. The source of the uranium has a very rich deposit in Africa. The U.S. killed and maimed hundreds of thousands of people with nuclear weapons made from it. Soon we can add St. Louis, Missouri to the nuclear kill. There are about 3 million people in the St. Louis metro area. And as you'll remember from high school physics class, uranium is the metal that burns. Burning uranium isotopes can get as hot as, 11,000 degrees Fahrenheit. There is no way for individuals on their own to argue with a burning 10,000 degree Fahrenheit chunk of uranium. The only thing to do is get out of the way, leave St. Louis. The prudent Missouri State Attorney's General report advises St. Louis's residents a nuclear dump fire could start as soon as December 1st. Now, 2015, now that's only a couple weeks away, guys. Nothing has been done to stop the progress of the fire, and nothing will be done because nothing can be done. Like it always does, the U.S. will study, not treat, a few unwitting victims and watch them die. Those people who are able to leave the St. Louis metro area should do so. Now, how did Billings, Montana rad level get to be so low? I mean, you know, if you listen to my radio show, you heard Billings, Montana was on top with a radiation level as high as 2,300. I mean, they were consistently right there as the highest rad level city in the whole country. So now Billings, Montana on October 16th, 2015 was reading 1,227 beta and 703 gamma for combined reading of 1,930 CPMs. Now the rad unit stopped publicly reporting. Then 4 days later on October 20th, boy, is this like Halloween-y? At 12:37:25, the unit came back to life again. But its personality had changed. The new beta and gamma reading was 926 beta and 401 gamma. The new combined radiation number on October 20th was 1,327 combined. Now the combined reading was 603 rads less than it was 4 days before. So there was no note or comment on the missing 4 days. It was a 4-day rad gap and an unexplained disappearance of 603 CPMs. The disappearing CPMs was compromised of 302 CPM gamma and 301 beta from the reset. So where did it go? You know, it didn't go to the moon. You know, that radiation's got to be somewhere. So I guess Billings, Montana didn't like being the top radiation city in the whole country. Well, I mean, I don't blame them, but man, do they have to cheat to get their way down? Well, with radiation very high in the air, it's really come to my attention that a lot of people are making transition. Then they're leaving, they're dying. And you know, a lot of them not by choice, but the radiation, because it's very high, I see that it's actually amplifying a person's sickness. And almost every day now, somebody's coming into my store and mentioning how they know of someone passing or a relative has passed. And, you know, recently I've had a dear friend of mine who has someone that they love dearly is also making transition. And because of what I went through with my sister who passed away, and people thought it was just really so unusual in how I looked at her death and how I approached it, I sat down and wrote this paper because I thought maybe me putting what I did on paper could actually help my friend, help their loved one, make transition easier. And this wasn't easy for me because in order to write it, I had to live it again. And man, that was gut-wrenching and brought tears and everything else because I missed my sister. And I like to say the doctors killed her because they did with radiation. You know, she had a lot of brain tumors, I guess, and she was experimental. So this is what I did to help her. So now, again, this wasn't easy to write about helping loved ones make transition because I did have to live and relive my sister's passing again, and that really made me cry. And, you know, because I wrote this a while back, I'm still crying on and off, and especially when I hear of someone passing away that's very close to a dear friend of mine, because I have compassion and I feel it and I relive part of it. And I feel for those people experiencing it. So when I talk about helping someone make transition, I'm not talking about euthanasia, where you actually put them down. I'm talking about sending the sick person the energy in such a way that it helps them release their souls on their own and own time. Many people are choosing to leave the earth, making transition in many ways, some quicker than others. Let's face it, no matter how long you're on the planet, 40 years or 700 years, we all will make transition, leaving our physical bodies behind for one of light. All of us. We have forgotten how to help people make transition in a gentle, kind, peaceful release. So I'm going to share with you what I did to help my sister Carol release from her body when it was time. How did I know it was time? Well, her body was shutting down. Fluid was forming around her heart, and she lost all motor movements, as well as having no more interest in food. And she was also very scared of what was to happen next. It really sucks when your body is gone and your brain is still active and functioning. You feel everything and totally hopeless because you no longer have physical control of your body, and that makes you dependent on people for everything. When I realized her body was shutting down, the hardest choice I had to make was to stop sending her any healing energy to prolong her distress. I called her higher self and asked to be guided as to what to do to help her, and asked her higher self that she receive the energy work, if it was for her highest good. So I started cutting ties with whatever was holding her to stay in physical form, whether it was a person, including any family members that she was attached to, or the people that were attached to her. By cutting all those ties, her soul is not being compelled to stay in the physical. I have a lot of pictures of my sister, and I packed them between slices of the healing stone angelite. And I had to take those off her pictures. I was now releasing her from all my energy work I've been doing and sending her for years. I called to Carol's angels that work with her to send her something that would bring her much joy when she wasn't conscious. In this case, my sister thought that the movie actor Chuck Norris was a hottie. So I called forth many images of him so she could pick one that worked best for her, in dream time, of course. I also asked that her spirit helpers show her many beautiful pictures of all the new possibilities that awaited her on the other side. I wanted her to see the beauty that would bring her heart peace and joy. I called to all her friends and relatives of Carol's that have already passed over to come forth and visit her, guiding her toward the light. And especially when she finally let go of her physical body. I also worked with the hospital staff as much as I could and asked them to give her whatever drugs she needed to make herself comfortable and out of pain. And at this point, it's about the quality of life, not prolonging someone's pain and discomfort. And I'm only asking for what I would like to experience when my time comes. I also asked for help from friends who knew how to work with energy and light to send Carol what energy she needed to release and let go. Prayers are so helpful. The goal is to help your loved one release their souls from the physical form in a gentle, kind, loving, peaceful way. She was a good person and deserved all the grace that I, in my humble way, could send her. When she did finally make transition, I felt the void of energy. Now, what does that mean? Over the years, I was sending Carol energy to her life force. And after she passed, that energy, having no place to go, would return to me. I had to learn to reapply that energy in different ways. And I felt an emptiness, for I missed her energy that she held while in physical form. It was gone. Now she's in spirit form. So there is a different energy out there, a very new and one I'm not used to working with. So the void is there until my body can readjust itself, and that space is filled with light and Carol's new form. After she passed, I had a little celebration. I was happy that she was released from her broken body and pain it caused. And I know she's in a better place now. I miss her, and life does keep going on. That's the way our loved ones would want it for us, not to give up. Be aware that you're also experiencing a form of shock and trauma. And it's not easy to help a person make transition, nor be around them while they're sick. For your own health, may I recommend Rescue Remedy, that is homeopathic treatment designed to help you release shock and trauma out of your body quicker and very gently. And you can put a few drops in your water bottle and sip it all day. Or I put a few drops in my bathtub, and I have a little while I'm having my R&R. And remember, death is all part of life, and we're all going to make that journey. Now, my friend recently witnessed a loved one of his really passing away, and what really made a strong impression on him, he said, was the ease of dying. It was light. You know, one breath and it's done. And all that tension and trauma we build around, this it just leaves. It's not necessary. So I hope this actually helps you. And really, I hope you all make a peaceful transition when the time comes, and really whatever works best for your highest good and soul's journey. Hi, Chris. Welcome.
Cathy, how are you today?
Oh, I'm absolutely wonderful. I'm so glad you could join us tonight.
Here we are.
What do you want to start with?
Holy cow, there is a question. That's a loaded question. There's so much going on in the energy realm right now. Let's talk about some discoveries that have brought forth to me that I've been working with. And one of the bigger ones has been more of a knowledge of grounding. Now, we all talk about grounding, whereas, I don't feel grounded today. And there's a lot of practitioners who will offer different ways to ground. There's grounding sheets, and there's hugging a tree and walking barefoot on the ground, which are all very valid. They enable your body to absorb negative ions, to help the circuitry in your body, if you will, to have flow, to have negative ions come in and stagnant positive ions to leave, so you have an open circuit. But what I have really found lately is that the polarity within our body, which is the north and south poles, now that the Earth has a north and south pole with an axis, and so do we. The Earth is 80% water, 20% mass, and basically so is our body, and we also have a north and south pole. And what I have found is that if one of these polarities may be missing, which is completely possible, our bodies cannot ground. No matter what we do, the grounding cannot happen. So what I've been doing is, when you're using energy, you just make the intent, and this pole will reattach itself wherever it is. It'll come back in, and it'll happen. And then the body can start to reground. You can actually follow through with these techniques so that your body can ground. Now, I've gone a little further into that, to what these poles actually are. We look at them as a pole, north and south pole. That's what scientists have given the terminology. But what the north and south pole actually is the yin and the yang. The south pole is the yin, north pole is the yang, and that is more of a description of what we're working with. But if you get into a more deeper scale of what these poles are, the yin and the yang, if you consider that we are living in a world of duality, right and wrong, left and right, light and dark, up and down, everything is a duality. The ultimate duality, let's say, is going to be creation and evolution. So if you look at these poles, yin and yang is creation and evolution, it puts a lot more, let's say, knowledge or thought into the whole concept of duality, polarity, and grounding.
Let me ask you a question, though. When you're doing a visualization on to ground, because I love new grounding exercises because I have to do them on air all the time, you envision a pole. How do you envision the north-south pole?
What I do is for envisioning is I'm talking with my pendulum and source of information, and it just tells me to do it. So I'm envisioning it through my intent. I'm just making the intent for it to happen, and boom, it happens.
Can I ask you another question? Because
yes.
A lot of people don't know what a pendulum is. Can you explain that?
Basically a crystal, some type of crystal on the end of a chain, and you hold it in your hands and you let it swing and you ask it a question. And if you're using a chart system with words or letters on it, it'll start to swing to the answer. So you ask it a question, it'll give you an answer. For some people, it's a matter of just swinging the pendulum and they'll start to get intuitive thought. They might get intuitive vision, they might get clairaudience, they might get some kind of response out of it. For me, it's using a chart system to get the answer that I'm looking for to help a person with a health problem.
Can I give a practical application of a pendulum? Like for me, if somebody comes into my store in Honoka'a, Hawaii, and they want me, they'll bring me like 2 angel light tools. One might be $175. The other one would be $45. And they'll go, which one do I need? Well, I want to be as honest as I can because logic would say, guide them to the higher one. But I want what is for their highest good because it all works out at the end. So I take the pendulum and I'll ask which one is the best tool for that person, and then that will give me a really clear answer, and they see it. Yeah, and to me it's like a more honest, clean answer than me saying, because a lot of times it might be the $45 tool.
Yes, by using some kind of dowsing instrument. Now, the pendulum is a dowsing instrument, and there's also something called the body pendulum, which is a form of kinesiology, where you stand straight and relaxed and you take, let's say, a herb or a crystal or a tool, hold it to your heart, and you ask the question, do I need this? And if you fall forward, it's yes. If you fall backward, it's no. It gives you a bit more of an insight of exactly what is the best for your need.
And there's different kind of pendulums. Then you've got divining rods, and have you ever worked with those?
I have a set of rods that I ordered, and I've been playing with them and trying to get some result, but any kind of tool like that does take some time for your body to get used to. I work with an orgonite pendulum 9 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it's as smart as a whip, and it gives me really accurate, quick answers. But the divining rods have been a bit of a challenge for me, using them the proper way. But when you get into any kind of tool that you're going to be using, it always takes some time for your body and your consciousness to get to know it a little bit.
I had a friend of mine who would take one divining rod, and he would hold the rod in his right hand, and then with his left hand, he would, like say if he's going to go to the grocery store, and ask Spirit, what fruit does my body really need? And then he would just kind of put his hand over the fruit, and when that divining rod started spinning, he knew that was the one that would be best for his body that day. And he would also do that for lunch, show me what I should eat today that would, give me the most nutrients.
That's right. A lot of people use these types of instruments for making certain decisions or to help them make a decision. Of course, you don't want a pendulum making all your decisions for you. Your wife will look at you kind of funny and say, do I not matter? So, of course, we can use to help us, to guide us as a guide to making the right spiritual decision.
Well, describe quantum healing.
Probably the best way to describe it, we've all heard of the law of attraction. Put something out there, you request something, and you get it, or something may happen so that you acquire what you're looking for. In quantum healing, we're asking what is causing this person's health problem. So let's say you come in to see me and you say, well, I have pain in the left side of my abdomen, I have a headache, and my bowels don't work properly. It's very common when people have a health problem. So I will start asking questions of the universe, of source. What is the areas, what are the components causing this person's health problem? So when you're working at the quantum level, you're working with the universe, you're working with spirit, you're working with all of the upper end consciousness that is there for us humans to acquire. We can use this consciousness for any kind of purpose that we want. That's what it's there for. So once you learn how the quantum universe works, how the whole grand scheme of things is in the universe, and you learn a bit more about it, you start to understand how you can use it, how you can form the question, and how you can make it work for you. A lot of people, when they talk about a healer, well, the first thing they think about is Jesus. In a way, it is. I mean, a lot of people do hands-on healing, and I really want to talk to somebody who was there in biblical times when Jesus was doing this, because then we can understand it a bit more, but we can read about it a little bit and get some kind of idea. So let's talk about my practice a little bit. What I'm doing is I'm using the pendulum to find the trouble area in your body. I'm asking what is causing the trouble area, whether it's a virus, some type of curse, some type of spirit attachment, some type of entity, and they all exist. Everything is there, and we can get deep into exactly what is out there in the universe, what's attacking us, and it gets very depth in conversation. When we do that, when we find these problems, what I do is I use my sacred geometry tools, which are basically pyramid in form. One that I use quite often is called a Vesica Pisces, which represents the feminine energy within the planet. And that's where we are headed now, into this new consciousness, the fifth dimension, which is a feminine energy. So to facilitate the fourth and fifth dimensions, this is what we use. And when you use a tool like that, it works as an amplifier. It works as an antenna for the quantum energy, for the source energy, for the universal energies that are out there when you make then an intent. Now, our thoughts are very powerful. Words are thought. Thought created the universe. The universe was just created by a thought. That's all it took, and then it escalated from there. So when you put the intent or thought into this tool and give it a command or an instruction to do something, the quantum energy goes in and does it. And 9 times out of 10, when I do this work on people, people get an instantaneous healing. Today, for instance, worked on somebody in Australia on the phone. I'm in Winnipeg, and this person's in Australia. This person had broken his ankle a number of weeks ago and is still having a lot of trouble with it healing. And as soon as I did some work on it, made some intent, all of a sudden he could twist it, he could turn it, he could flex it, and the pain was gone. He was quite amazed, something that happens on a daily basis within my office. So knowing about the quantum energy, knowing how it works, how you can use it for your benefit, when you can understand that, it makes it so easy for almost anybody to acquire these tools and to acquire this knowledge about it and use it for your own advantage.
Wow, it's pretty incredible. Why do you choose a pyramid as one of your sacred geometry healing tools?
One of my acquaintances, when I started my journey into this whole world of healing, he's in Alberta, Canada. His name is Wayne Gatos, and his company is called Crystalline Incorporated. He has a number of different tools that facilitate this type of healing. He has rings that you use, much like Slim Sperling rings. Some of us may have heard of those. So he has the pyramids, and he has a few other things. The pyramids, to me, just resonate at a much higher level, that this is the tool that I need to use. So for me, it just has that broad spectrum of energy that encompasses all of my intent, and it works on a vast amount of people. So the pyramid for me is just the tool of choice.
Is it a solid pyramid, or is it open on the bottom?
This is a wire pyramid. Now, I've got one I'm holding in my hand right now. It actually looks like a football. It's 2 pyramids joined at the base with some wires around it that facilitate the scalar energy within it. If you were to go on the internet, Google the word Vesica Pisces, you would see some form of picture of it. You'd see a lot of feminine type of images that facilitate the feminine energy that within this tool.
Can you spell that for me?
Vesica.
I'm assuming you're right, okay? Because I even had the beginning wrong. And coming from Hawaii, you get one letter wrong and you're in a different town. You know what I mean?
this pyramid, start to break down pyramids into their geometry. The pyramids of Giza are the most famous pyramids, and there's pyramids all over the world. They discovered many in Bosnia, China, all over the world. If you dissect the geometry of these pyramids, especially in Giza, from the tip to the base, the degree of deflection is 1.62. That's the degree of angle. Now, the 1.62 angle, what that does is it locks the planet. It locks everything into 3D. And when you're healing and when you're shifting in consciousness, you want to be able to access 4D and 5D. So what we've done within the Vesica Pisces when we designed it is we changed the pitch to a 1.72 degree, which is a lot more facilitating to open doors to 4D and 5D, which offers a lot more of a healing potential and a lot more availability for different levels and different densities of quantum energy.
Okay, now, does it have a capstone on it so you can actually change the energy that way by changing the capstone?
It doesn't have a capstone, but what you can do with these pyramids is very interesting, is you can put different crystals within them, you can put different geometry tools in them. We have a tool called a sun ring, which is a small ring with points coming out of it that kind of looks like the sun. When you add these tools to the pyramid, it changes the frequency, it adjusts it, it raises it, it facilitates different things. So if you put a rose quartz in there, it may help more of it at an emotional level. If you put a clear quartz in there, it'd be more all-encompassing for healing. So the beautiful thing about these instruments is that you can change the energy by putting different things within them. I
like that. And how easy are they to get?
They are available on my website. So if you go to my website, chriskeller.net. Now, the Vesica Pisces isn't on there, and I'll explain that.
Boy, are you a tease. I guess it's only for those that listen to my radio show, right?
Yeah. The Vesica Pisces is very specific right now because we are not quite into the whole fifth dimension consciousness yet. So what I need to do, and this is coming from instructions from the person who makes them, is that if somebody wants one of these, they have to show a good test for one. So I'll take my pendulum and ask, is this person right for the Vesica Pisces? Not is the Vesica Pisces right for them, are they right for the Vesica Pisces? The tools that I sell mostly, it's a 3-tiered pyramid, and it still has a 1.72 pitch on it, and it also encompasses a sun ring. So these tools are more for, let's say, a beginner or somebody who knows what they're doing but wants to try something different. And then if you show that you work with these quite well, then I can sell you a Vesica Pisces if the pendulum says, yes, you qualify. They are on my website. They're not really expensive either. The triple pyramid is only $213 with a sun ring in it, and that includes delivery, which is like $40. So they're relatively inexpensive. I've seen tools like these on the internet for $1,000. These do work. I use it on a daily basis, and I sell many of them all over the world off of my website.
Have you used them on plants?
I've used them on plants. I've used them on animals. I use them on my drum set to help tune my drums. You name it. If it has electricity, if it has vibration, you can use it on anything you want.
You tried putting it under your bed?
A pyramid is better to put over the bed. If they're small enough and light enough that if you took a thumbtack and stuck it into the drywall ceiling that you have and put a long fishing leader or a piece of wire and hung it over the bed, it's a lot better to sleep under it. Now, we do carry some tools that are rings in form. That's the sun ring, neutralization ring. Those would be beneficial if you put under the bed.
I love new tools. God, that sounds dirty, doesn't it?
Only if you put your consciousness there.
Oh, yeah, consciousness. Thank you. I had a question and it kind of left and it came back. Thank goodness. Now, when you talk about the fifth dimension, what the heck are you talking about? I'm sure everybody's saying the same thing. What do you mean?
There is a lot of talk about this consciousness called the fifth dimension. Now, if you consider as a solid, here we are in the third dimension, height, width, and length. The fifth dimension is basically an awakening. We're going to call it the age of Aquarius. It is when the planets are shifting to a certain degree where Aquarius in the zodiac is now present in the house of the Earth. That is the dominant zodiac that is presenting itself. And what this is doing, it's making it possible for our thoughts, our consciousness, our awareness to be at a much higher level, which means we are allowed to know more about truth, about what's around us, how things work, how the universe works, how source works, how quantum energy works. We're allowed to ask the questions and get the answers, the real truthful answers. And the way I can tell that this is happening is that within my work, every week it goes to different levels. I'm able to go deeper into the DNA and find out what it really is. I'm able to go into the DNA, find out how to change it, how to realign it and recalibrate it so that your body can function properly and at much different levels. The basic, easy way to talk about the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is also about manifestation, whereas you make a storyboard or a vision board as to what you'd like to have in your life, and you put pins in it, and you put it on your fridge, and you look at it every day, and these things should be able to manifest into your life. With the fifth dimension consciousness, we're taught how to make this more available, how to have it happen faster, more efficiently, in order to manifest what you need in your life. My wife and we needed a new house, so we started looking around, and we put it out there that we need a house of this size, to have this and that, here's our wants and needs, and boom, there it was. There it was, right there, without even hardly looking for it. We called a real estate agent. We said, we want to go look at this house. We walked in 5 minutes. We said, we were going to put an offer on this house. We did. We got it at the price that suited our financial needs. It had everything that we needed within it that we wanted and asked for without even dripping a sweat. It was that easy. So some people are very good at being able to manifest things, what you want in your life. Some people, you try to manifest something, you get the opposite. That's because your law of attraction is not working properly, and there are things that I can do within my system to clear out the law of attraction and all of its manifestation properties within it so that it's a lot easier to ask the universe for something and you get it.
Well, Chris, we're going to go on a break shortly, and then we're going to do a lot more work in the next hour, so you don't go away. So how can people get a hold of you if they want some work done?
Very easily. If you go to my website, chriskeller.net, there is a Book Fresh program that you can go into and just book your own appointment. You can also get in touch with me by email or by phone, and my email address and phone number is on the website. I'm very easy to get a hold of, and within 24 hours I'll certainly get back to you and answer any questions that you have.
So if somebody wanted a session with you, how easy is that?
Right now I'm booked about 3 weeks ahead of time, so it's not a big wait. Some people are booked a year ahead of time, and to me that's just a bit of an ego trip if you got that many people that people need to line up. I go through a lot of clients very quickly because it only takes 1 or 2 sessions to clear up most health problems, so I'm always looking for new clients.
I like that. I really do, because to me that's a healer. It's not how much money you can make from somebody. It's like, how quickly can I help you heal because I got other people to see.
That's exactly it. And people don't want to spend thousands of dollars on something that might work. My guarantee is that I'm going to show you some kind of result, or I'm not going to work on you at all, because we need to either learn more about it, or you're not ready, or there's something in the way, and I'm not going to keep on taking your money if it's not working. So after 2 or 3 sessions, if no changes are made, I make the suggestion to wait a few months and then rebook again, so that way you're not wasting time and money.
Wow, how perfect. So we're right at break, and Chris, we will be back shortly, so don't go away.
I will not.
freedomslips.com. And we'll be right back after this message.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
At Chris Keller Holistic, we demonstrate real healing and real caring to your health issues and needs. Our solution for you is an alternative to the alternative. Our out-of-the-box treatment methods are aimed to your specific well-being and are quite different than most. Venturing down the realm of quantum energy healing, Chris uses unique modalities of healing, such as spiritual intervention with pendulum dowsing, sacred geometry tools such as the neutralization, divinity, and sun ring. Another tool Chris uses is a 5-tiered pyramid affectionately known as the Silver Light Pyramid to activate quantum activity within the body. Also, Chris Keller Holistic uses radionic technologies in various platforms with specific liquid mineral ionics to balance out excesses and deficiencies within the body. At Chris Keller Holistic, our goal is to get tangible and measurable results in the least amount of time possible so you can carry on with what's important in your life. Another advantage to this unique energy healing is that it can be done at a distance healing session, so location is not a barrier and can be done conveniently at your home, office, just about anywhere through Skype or telephone conferencing. Eliminate costly protocols, expensive monthly supplements, high-priced allopathic operations, invasive surgeries, and dubious medication applications that keep you trapped in a financial and health rat race. Get a specific, customized, out-of-the-box solution tailored for your health recovery. At Chris Keller Holistic, we are warm welcoming and want to put you at ease with your visit to us. Please visit www.chriskeller.net for further information as we welcome your questions and inquiries to starting this unique journey. At Chris Keller Holistic, we want to show you that we are the alternative to the alternative and the out-of-the-box solution to customize an answer for you to spend less and gain more in your high vibrancy journey. Visit www.chriskeller.net. Real healing and real caring to your health needs.
Transcending time and space, let us take you to the place inside your mind where thoughts divide and mysteries unwind. Join us every Monday evening right here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you will catch the Fenton Perspective with our great host, Lorian Fenton. Come listen in as she shares her amazing stories from the past to present, along with all of her guest secrets to the future. That's the Fenton Perspective every Monday evening right here from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Revolution Radio. Oh, and you don't need to expect us. We're already here.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
This is the second half of Cathy Bilsky Quantum Leap Let Light Unite show on Revolution Radio. If you want to find more about me, you can go to my website at www.angelliteom.com. That's ANGELITEOM.com. And I have some really cool healing tools, which is really great for the holidays. And anybody can be a healer with my Angel Light tools, and they glow in the dark. And it's a nice way to relieve stress, and I'm the only one on the planet that makes them. pretty cool. And I also have a couple books on there. One you can download for free. And they're both how to really reconnect and help you remember everything that you've forgotten about your spirituality. How to work with love, how to communicate with the angels, the elemental kingdom, how to know when you're under psychic attack and all that lovely stuff. You can also find me on Facebook. Oh my God, I'm all over the place now. I have a couple sites on Facebook, and I just opened a public page up. So if you want to go there, and if you have any questions on the show, you can actually write to me there, or you want to make a suggestion of what you'd like to see me bring on the show, or any questions at all. So you can go to find me at Catherine Marie Bilsky on Facebook. Or if you find me, I've got 2 pages under Cathy Bilsky, which is my wild page. But I put my power prayers on all of them. And again, you don't ever have to feel like you're powerless, because this shows you a different possibility and how to take your energy and redirect it, and helping the planet shift and do something positive. So you can also find me on Google and on YouTube. For those of you that don't know, I actually have a Rock Shop Healing Center on the Big Island in Honoka'a, Hawaii, where you can come hug. I have the largest crystal in Hawaii, and it's 1,000-pound smoky quartz celestial earth keeper that I let all kinds of people hug. And I took a video of her yesterday and put that on YouTube. So if you want a really up-close and personal view of my earth keeper and feel her energy, just check me out, Cathy Bilsky, on YouTube, and enjoy. So we were talking to Chris Keller, who's a quantum energy healer, and we were talking about pyramids and sacred geometric tools. And you're still there, Chris?
I am still here. You can't get rid of me that easy.
Oh, I love guests like you. So we've talked about quite a bit, and what I want to really kind of start this hour off with, would you like to do an energy healing?
If somebody wants to take the healer for a run, go right ahead, give us a call.
Well, while we're waiting for some person to call, let's talk about how negative entities and aliens and spirits affect one's health. Now, what's the difference between entities, aliens, and spirits?
It can all be considered under the same umbrella, let's say. Let's look at spirits that might be hovering around within you, or something that hasn't crossed over into source yet. We call this a disincarnate. So let's say your mother has passed away, and shortly after that, all of a sudden you start getting a headache. And it's like, I've never had this headache before, and it comes and goes, and it's just something that doesn't seem to want to go away. There's a good possibility that the spirit of your mother has attached itself to you for one reason or another. Maybe it's not sure where to go to cross over. Maybe it wants to stick around and make sure you're okay. There's a lot of different scenarios, but when there's a spirit attachment within your body, it triggers something. Your body knows something is there that shouldn't be there, and it can register in the form of pain or discomfort or some kind of feeling of intuition. So that is one thing. Now, when it comes to extraterrestrial, this is a subject where a lot of people look at you funny, roll your eyes, and say, what internet show have you been watching, way too often? But the reality is that ET, extraterrestrials, different species of these energy beings, have been around us and have been on this planet for hundreds and thousands and millions of years. We are the sixth seeding of humanity on this planet, and we have been populated here by the reptilians. We are here for their entertainment, for their use of energy and food sustenance, for their use of scientific experiments and so on. And there's a lot of people who would agree with me. There's a lot of people who would say, okay, you have been smoking the wacky tobacco. Okay. And to that, all I say is, the reason I know this is because when I test somebody for it with my pendulum, I find it, I move it out, right away you feel better. So that's my way of knowing that these things exist. I don't see them, I don't hear them, I don't sense them. The source that I use for my answers tells me, I move it out, things get better. So there's a lot of different ET species. There's the gray aliens, there's the reptilians, there's the Dracos, there's the Archons, and a lot of these species, the reptilians have created through their consciousness, blah, blah, blah. It gets very deep. So that's the basis of different ETs. Now, there's also different types of, let's say, interdimensional spirits when it comes to something, let's say, like a demigod. A lot of the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods are still around, and they're trying to keep control over their domain and their realm and their kingdom, and they're doing it vicariously through present humanity. So themselves, they can cause a lot of problems the same way that a spirit attachment can be attached to you. When it comes in deeper play, such as occult rituals, let's talk about the Illuminati for a second. They are involved with occult rituals, that type of thing. Your soul, your spirit can be offered up by somebody who has a negative view about you, and if they have a negative streak within them, a dark streak, this can connect your energy with these darker forces, and then all of a sudden these ritual events can start to play out. And the quantum body of ours, the causal body, holographic body, when these energy bodies, etheric bodies, have been taken over and are being manipulated in different dimensions and different parallels of the universe, whatever is happening there, you're going to feel within your virtual reality body here on Earth. Say somebody's got a very bad migraine headache all the time. You go to the doctor, you get an MRI and a CAT scan and x-rays done, but they see nothing. Nothing is there. There's no reason why you should be having migraine headaches. That's because in a different realm, there's something happening to your energy where it's affecting you in this lifetime, okay? So that's basically where I go in that direction. So the ET aspect and spiritual aspect are probably a good 80 to 90% of all serious health problems. Once you get rid of those issues by working within quantum energy, then you can work on the physical issues, which could be virus, parasite, bacteria, a mineral, heavy metal buildup, or something like that.
Okay, I got one. How about for me? I want to remove the energy that's keeping me forward from going beyond my divine potential.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to ask directly to source on this one with my letter chart. And the question I'm going to ask, of course, if you're using a pendulum, you ask the right question, you get the right answer. The question I'm going to ask pertaining to Cathy's concern, what problem do we need to work on? And it's spelling out that the problem is we're going to cut cords with what? Cut cords with, okay, give me 1 second here. There's a ritual of, okay, hold on, not ritual, so it's correcting itself, not ritual, but, okay, dimension of, okay, so the second dimension is within her time matrix. So what this is telling me is that your time matrix, which can be almost looked upon as the Akashic records, it's a timestamp of your beingness here, your time matrix is anchored in the second dimension. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect it from the second dimension and mutate it into the fourth dimension. And as I do that, if you're sensitive, and I know you are, my dear, you're going to feel some type of energy shift happen, okay? Mm-hmm. Here we go. Let's do it. So I've got my Vesica Pisces. I'm going to make the intent, give the command to shift, and it will happen. Here we go. Shift Cathy's time matrix from the second dimension to the fourth dimension, please. And we'll give this a 30 seconds or so. Shift Cathy's time matrix from the second dimension to the fourth dimension. And that is now shifting over. One more time. Shift Cathy's time matrix from the second dimension to the fourth dimension. There it goes. Now, to solidify it, to keep it there, I'm going to say the words, Cathy's time matrix, fourth dimension, true. When you use the word true, it recalibrates the whole thing and makes it solid, makes it strong within wherever we put it. So we've just shifted your time matrix into that dimension. What kind of changes do you feel, Cathy?
God, you mean I have to come back and talk?
If you can.
All right, so what I felt is, the top of my head, all this energy, just opening up my crown chakra. And then I felt this incredible, like this big ball of energy come at me and literally push me backwards. And it was just a big ball of energy. I just felt the energy. So when you're talking about anchored in the second dimension, what do you mean? And then again, re-anchoring in the fourth dimension, what do you mean?
Basically, I'm looking at the dimensions as levels of energy. We look at us as third dimensional beings in the third dimension. If you go lower in energy, there's second and first dimension.
Well, why didn't you put me in the fifth dimension?
Well, because we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
I'm quantum leap. Somebody's got to go there first, right?
Yes, but not yet. What we want to do is put you in a transition area. The fourth dimension is more of a transition area, let's say, or a holding area, or just something that's almost at the fifth. So we're waiting right now for some things to happen, and it has a lot to do with the particle accelerator in CERN, Switzerland. There's a lot of people out there who are trying to stop this thing from working. Please stop doing that, because we need this energy for the transition to happen. I know there's a lot of people disagreeing with me.
Yeah.
But what's happening now is source, pure, true source, love and light is coming in. When they smash those particles, they're going to use that energy to make it all happen. What has been happening in the past is that there has been dark forces at play that are taking that energy and using it against humanity. It's all changing now. Everything is changing on an hourly basis right now. We're on a very big uphill slide to this whole ascension process that is going to trigger things to happen.
You know what really got me? I mean, I was blown. I went and Spirit guided me to this old movie by Tom Hanks called Angels and Demons. Mm-hmm. It was about the Catholic Church. It was about CERN. And CERN creating this mass that, nobody needed to have because it was pretty dark. And I'm going, God, CERN, Catholic Church, why didn't I get that when it was coming out with the movie 5 years ago? I mean, they had this out, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Mind-blowing.
There's a lot of things that happen in the movies that could almost be like hint. The movie Lucy has got a lot to do with the quantum entanglement and different types of consciousness. And a lot of it does have some truth. Might be putting little breadcrumbs and hints of what might be within the whole scenario.
Liz, did you want to say anything to Chris?
Sure. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Liz.
I told Cathy I would do it. I just don't know where to start.
Well, basically, if you give me a couple of immediate health problems or issues of any kind that you want to address, we can have a quick look and see if we can make an adjustment.
Okay. I'm diabetic, and I also have arthritis in my knees.
Diabetes is an intricate problem. Diabetes is something that does take multiple sessions to get into, because there can be so many different things at play. There could be the liver, the pancreas, the receptors, so it would take multiple clearings. Let's look at the knees. Right now, here's something tangible that we can work on. You have some stiffness and pain in your knees at this moment?
They've not been bothering me too bad today. Yesterday was a totally different story.
What I'm going to do is go straight into my stressor charts and ask what is causing low levels of vitality within Liz's knees. And when I work with arthritis, it can be a lot of different things. You can have 5 people with knee pain, arthritis, and they can have it for 5 different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Uric acid crystals is one, calcium crystals is another. Bowel toxins can definitely be an inflammatory. It all depends on what your arthritis is. Now, if you consider you've got diabetes, you've got sore knees, they could all be caused or related to the same thing. So let's see what this has to say. Give me 1 second to find it.
Okay.
We need to have the right answer. The close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Okay, give me 1 second. What is causing low levels of vitality in Liz's knees? Now, how long have the knees been arthritic?
Oh, gosh. Several years. I can't really pinpoint. I'd say at least 5 years.
Okay. So I am getting an answer. It's directing me to another chart. It's basically a pie chart with 25 different answers on it, and it's going to direct me to a subchart. Okay, but I think I might know what it might be. What is causing low levels of vitality in Liz's knees? Is it? Okay, so what this is showing, it wants to move, of course, it wants to move. There is a curse within your knees.
A curse?
There is a curse. Curses are very common, and this is a curse from a family member.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Now, our families, the family drama, if you will, is huge. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this curse out of your knees, and you're going to tell me if your knees feel a little lighter, if you feel some tingling, if you feel a little looser, okay?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Within Liz's knees, all curses from family members, false, and send it to ether. Lift all curses from family members within Liz's knees, please. Okay, so that's working. I can feel the energy pulling on my end. It's like I got a huge fish on the line. And I just released. Now let me know if your knees feel a little different.
It's wild. They do. I felt like a light tingling in both of them. And it felt like something was being lifted out of each one of them.
That's the curse that we pulled out.
A family member? Well, that sure would be hard to pinpoint.
Well, you know what? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't matter. It was just kind of not what I was expecting to hear. I thought you might say, well, if you lose 20 pounds, you know. That would...
You know what? That's the answer the doctors will give you, okay?
Okay, I have another one then. Do you do any work with carpal tunnel syndrome?
You know what? You name it, I do work with it.
Okay, I have a really bad issue with carpal tunnel, especially in my left hand.
Okay, now generally carpal tunnel starts in the mid-back. It puts pressure on a nerve and that energy will flow into the wrist. But carpal tunnel in the left hand. Now, what I'm going to do is just go straight to the point. So right now you have some numbness or tingling in your left hand?
A little.
Let's do this, just for stuff and giggles, as they say.
Okay.
Okay, left hand, carpal tunnel, false. Liz's left hand, carpal tunnel syndrome, false. So I'm just making the attempt to move the carpal tunnel, and it is pulling, and is now lifting and relieving. Let me know if that makes a change.
I felt a slight tingle in 3 of my fingers on my left hand.
So there is energy moving in that area where it's supposed to be. That's a beautiful thing. So carpal tunnel, a name that the medical community gives that type of symptom. Again, ultimately, what's causing your carpal tunnel? So I'm going to ask a question. see. Carpal tunnel. What problem do we need to work on within Liz, please? We're going to get Source to spell it out, and spelling out that the problem is we're going to remove They're spelling out P-E-S-T, pest. Oh, that guy. Okay, we're going to remove Lucifer from her wrists. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Lucifer is somebody I find in everyone. Lucifer's name in the universe is the Lord of Life. Okay, we're going to remove Lucifer and see if it makes more of a change in your wrist. Here we go. Within the left wrist, Lucifer, false, send to ether. Cut all cords with Lucifer and send him to ether, please. And he is now lifting and going away.
Wow.
I love it when they say wow.
My whole left arm feels lighter.
So that's because the nerve, the axillary nerve from your neck all the way down to that wrist has been affected. So it's going to take it out of that whole nerve.
I have extreme tingling in my first 3 fingers and my thumb.
So we've gone to a deeper level and got rid of one of the actual components of what's causing the carpal tunnel, and it is now gone. With 99% of everybody I work on, I remove Lucifer out of that person.
Really?
If I was to work on the Pope tomorrow, I'd be pulling Lucifer out.
Oh, wow. That's just a done deal with the Pope. Come on.
Thank you so much, Chris. My hand is still tingling a little.
You know what? It's going to tingle for the next little while, and you might get some little shifting here and there. Just be aware of that, and just know that everything is going to alleviate itself in a very short period of time.
Don't have any thing attached to me, do I?
You most likely do. If we found a curse, generally there's going to be something that is activating that curse, something that's working alongside of it. Let's see. Let's have a look. What is causing low levels of vitality within Liz's body? Let's see if we can pull something out. Let's see what we can find as far as some type of attachment. What is causing low levels of vitality? Okay, so I am finding something. Okay, let's see what this chart has to say. Chart number 13 says, what is causing low levels of vitality within Liz's body? Now, you have a missing pole. It's either the south or north pole, most likely the south pole. So, now if you consider that something like carpal tunnel is a nervous system problem, the nervous system is electrical. If you're not grounded properly, we talked about this at the beginning of the interview, then all of a sudden energy is going to build up in your body. And this could be energy that comes out of the wall outlets, ELS, EMS, all that type of thing. So let's correct your polarity, and we'll see what kind of wonderful sensations you get out of this. Okay, so we're going to say South Pole true. Yin true. In Liz, yin true. Okay, your South Pole is now coming in. Yan true. And the North Pole is now coming in. There it is. Now Axis true. Axis true. Just by saying the word true brings it all together. It does the job. It's very easy. Now, the work I'm doing right here, I teach it to anybody who wants to learn it. You can go onto my website. I do sell a course to teach you exactly what we're talking about here. Now, within Liz, grounding true. Entire body grounding true. Just by making the intent. Everything is intent. I intend to get out of bed, have a coffee, and do housework. Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay, my turn. One more.
How's that feeling, Liz?
Not quite as intense as with my left hand, but I think I do start to feel a little more grounded. And that's good because I have to do the interior of a closet tomorrow.
Okay, so now if you do a grounding exercise, any kind of grounding exercise, no matter what it is, you're going to feel it at a much higher level. You're going to say, okay, now I'm grounded. Now I know what grounded is, what grounding really is.
Is that what you were talking about? You and I hear Cathy talk about it, like hugging a tree.
Hugging a tree, now the best way to ground is barefoot on the ocean. That is the absolute best way to ground. You're going to pick up the negative ions that's charged by plasma strikes or lightning strikes.
Yeah, but not everybody can get to an ocean.
I'm pretty far away from the ocean.
So what you can do is if you use intent, you stand on the ground and you intend that you are on the ocean.
Okay,
that's how easy it is.
Hugging a tree.
Hug a tree, you can go for a walk in the woods, whatever you need to do. Barefoot is what's going to do it for you.
Unless you're in the middle of winter, you're going to freeze your little...
You can buy sheets that you lay on. I used to sell these from Barefoot Connections. You plug it into the wall and it accesses the ground, and there's silver threads within the sheet that conduct the ground. So you lay on it all night long, and it does ground you. They do work very well, but there's so many different ways to do it.
That's absolutely true. So let me ask you, what is a parallel universe, and why should we know about it?
Now, a parallel universe is us in another dimension, another reality, a different plane of energy where we can't see it, feel it, or hear it, but it exists. So let's say I'm here in this room talking on the radio. In a parallel universe, I might be sitting in this room playing a video game. I might be in a different room doing something else, but it's me doing something different. So through something called quantum entanglement, if my energy is somewhere else, and let's say I'm walking down the street and somebody drops a piano on my head in that parallel, in this lifetime, in this reality, I will get a very bad headache. That's the best way to describe what a parallel universe and how it affects you is. So the parallel thing is real. It exists. I work within it a lot, and sometimes I've found within people who are all of a sudden getting very stiff and their bones are starting to warp and their fingers are curling up. What has happened is their parallel has died and is going into rigor mortis. So in this lifetime, in this reality, you're starting to get that stiffness. You're not dead, but you're feeling the symptoms of what that parallel is going through.
Ooh.
Kind of scary in itself, but
God, all you can say is
that is part of our reality. That is what we're dealing with.
Life is complicated, huh?
It can be, but when you have somebody with the consciousness and the open-mindedness to go there and look for this, we can make life a lot easier for you and help you understand it.
What about children that are autistic?
Autism is a very intricate thing because ultimately these children can be, number one, starseed. They can have a very high level of consciousness that is being looked upon as a problem. It can be mercury and different heavy metals within the brain that's causing disruption in the nervous system. But ultimately with autism, it can be a very intricate problem where it's not really a problem. It's more an issue of understanding what is happening and learning how to work with it. I am working with one child in Colorado with autism, and we are getting results. Every 2 weeks I work with him when I work through his mother, because the DNA is basically the same, I can work through the mother onto the child so the child doesn't have to be on the phone with me. But we are making changes, and the school that he goes to makes comments that, you know what, He doesn't bite anymore. He's coming out of the quiet room more. He's more time. He's being more social. So the teachers are noticing. The parents are noticing. But autism, is something you really have to work with and learn what it is, and possibly learn how to help the person to live with it or adjust their life to make it more of a part of them.
That's true. So what tips can you give to people to do actually some energy healing at home?
There are some easy ways, and you've heard me say, as I did these few clearings, is the words true and false. So if you simplified things, and let's say you have a headache, so if you look in the mirror or just sit in a nice quiet area and you say the words out loud, because God hears our prayers, He doesn't psychically hear them, He hears them, so He wants you to speak it. If you say the words headache, false. Headache, false. Headache, false. There's a good chance that headache will start to go away. If it's a severe headache, you might need to know what is causing the headache, and it could be calcium overload, it could be iron, it could be a curse, it could be whatever. If you do know intuitively what it is, you can say brain, curse, false, boom, it goes away. Now, the tools that I have on my website, the only reason I have these available is because they work. There is a ring called the sun ring, and this is a broadcaster of energy. So when you put intent into it, the energy amplifies and that goes in and makes the adjustments. So if you hold that sun ring between the palms of your hands and then say the words headache, false, the headache will most likely go away. If you want to add something, if you want to enhance something, you've got a cold, if you say immune system true, it's going to increase your immune system to fight off that cold. So that's how simple it can be. You can get a little intricate within it like I do. But ultimately, the words true and false, when used with an intent and an intuition, are very, very powerful.
Oops, I forgot to unmute myself. Yeah, I love it when it's easy. I mean, how easy can that be?
Not need to be hard. What I want to do is educate and help people to understand exactly what is going on here when we're doing distance healing, when we're doing thought healing, when we're doing all of this different type hocus pocus, if you will. We're going to talk about the energy bodies within us. When you take Reiki, they talk about 8 different bodies. I will work with 75 or 80 different ones. Let's say you're in a car accident and you lose your left leg, but you still feel pain in that leg as if it's still there. We call it phantom pain. A lot of people have heard about it. A lot of people haven't. What is going on there is in your energy bodies, your quantum body and causal body, that leg still exists. So your physical incarnation body is feeding off of those energy bodies, and it still thinks that leg is there. So there's something wrong with it because it got injured, there's trauma to it. It's registering as pain. That is one way people can kind of say, oh, okay, I think I understand what he's saying. Now, the chakra system. There are 7 different energy centers within our body and a whole bunch of them outside of the body. There's a lot of different schools of thought of how many and what they do, blah, 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 and it doesn't matter. We've all been in a situation where we've lost a loved one, we've broken up from a relationship, feel this tightness in our chest. We feel this hurt within our chest. That is not your physical blood-pumping heart. That is your heart chakra closing up. Because of this emotion that you're feeling, it's going into protect mode and closing up. That is what you're feeling. So when I say chakra system, you go, well, what's he talking about? Now, everybody has felt that feeling before. You lost a pup, your girlfriend said, go away, whatever. That feeling in your chest is that heart chakra.
Okay. Again, give us your website. And, you've got down here where people can actually read testimonials.
I've got all my testimonials on there. I use a program called BookFresh to book appointments, and within it there's a little mini website. Testimonials are on there. The website is chriskeller.net, ChrisKehler.net. I've got about 200 different videos on YouTube that you can watch. All my radio interviews are on there. My radio show is on there. You can listen to all different types of things. You can get an idea for how this all works and get a resonation with it. I'm on Facebook. Friend me on Facebook.
Well, I have to say that I'm also, the healing that you did for me, it doesn't stop after 30 seconds.
Oh,
and
no.
I can feel my heart chakra open up, and actually I'm really getting hot with the energy, which I love. I'm an energy addict, okay? My crown chakra, and when you're talking, I mean, I was just kind of going out into the zone going, not yet. You have to do radio. Not yet, So, no offense, but I can't wait to get off radio to get really quiet and allow all this energy to settle in. So
generally,
thank you.
Yeah, generally when I do a full healing, 12, 24 hours it takes for the energy to completely process, and that's when you feel the full benefit of it.
Awesome. Sleeping for most of it. But I'm getting a big hit from it now, so I'm, wow. Wow.
I love it when they say wow.
I enjoy you coming on. You are so incredibly brilliant because I like to listen to you talk, and then you get to talk and I get to listen.
We just tapped a few different things that are possible with the system I'm using. I work deeply within the soul to make adjustments, and I use a crystal within my Vesica Pisces called a mondolite, which is a soul crystal. It's one of the rarest stones on the planet. It works very deeply within the soul. Depression is no problem whatsoever. Anxiety, depression. I know all about how it works with soul connections when it gets to that. Basically, you name it, on any physical level, spiritual level, psychic level, I can open your third eye. We can get into things that are causing clogging or blockages within your psychic centers. No matter what it is, it can be dealt with. Now, having said that, chronic problems like MS, cerebral palsy, a lot of these deeper subjects do take longer clearings. So we are making changes at a very high level.
Wow, very interesting. Thank you for explaining that. I hope you'll come on the show again.
You know what? You say the word and I'll be here.
And I let you talk.
And you let me talk, and I appreciate that.
And what's your website again?
Website is chriskeller.net.
Before the music comes up, I'd like to say, Chris, thank you so much. My left hand is still tingly.
Okay. Now, what you may need to do is that if it doesn't stop tingling, go on my YouTube channel. There's a video called Distance Healing, where I utilize one of my tools called the neutralization ring. If you watch that video, you'll get the energy off of it, and it might help things out a little bit, okay?
All right, thank you.
YouTube Distance Healing.
Another easy thing to do.
That's it.
Well, that takes us to the music, and have a wonderful week, everybody. This is a new moon, so make your new moon wishes, and we'll talk to you next week. Aloha.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.